Hello everyone, it's Monday, February 23rd, 2015, and this is another Playscii dev update. So I've got, you can see along the top of the window here, I've got a menu bar. And there's all kinds of things here where we can do pull-down menus and see the kinds of things that one sees in a pull-down menu. There's a whole system for this that populates different commands and grays them out and takes you to a dialogue screen where you can enter in things and all that kind of stuff. So that's all pretty exciting. Yeah. This ended up, there's a whole system that I made for, making this thing happen. That builds on existing concepts that were already in the UI stuff. These are all just UI elements that use a lot of the same concepts, and each of the clickable items in the menu here are buttons, etc. But yeah, but yeah, I ended up adding a lot to it, and we can do things like, let me open up so I can now. The keyboard shortcut here, is shown. This is dynamically read in from the keybinds file. So anything that has a command associated with it in the binds file, it draws that, whatever that is. So if you, the user, have rebound something, then it will read from that properly, and it knows what function to look at, and it's running essentially the same code if you, if I say new, whether I click this item or hit Control N, it brings up the same thing. So it's doing all the same stuff under the hood. Yeah. So let me open up, but I was about to open up our old friend, the hello test art, just because it's got multiple layers here. This is sort of, this is a simple but works for now kind of layers list where we can see the bottom layer here, and I've given them different names and so forth. I can go to this layer, and some of these dialogues don't actually change. Like, a lot of times you'll click on something, and it will close the menu, as you would expect, and as is usually the case. But with things like, when I was doing stuff like next and previous art, it seemed actually kind of useful to keep the same pop-up menu up, because you're only ever one little click away from, and then you can click on these different things here. So not closing the menu after the user makes their selection seems like it's a little better, or at least I'm trying it out. If y'all hate it, let me know. If anybody here is using the program, then let me know if you're making artwork, what's working for you. Sorry, I was sick for the past several days now. I was really only able to do a little more than sit up in bed and program and eat food and stuff, so I'm still a little scratchy and sniffly and stuff, but I made some good progress through that. Yeah. But yeah, and you can change, in something like this, you can see that layer list, and you can say go to this one, and then you can change the layer's z-depth, which is pretty cool. And so now this layer is above this other layer. We can change between all of these, and that's all pretty rad. That's a cool thing. So yeah, just getting more and more like a legit editor that I can do real artwork in. It's honestly very close now. There's only one real bit of UI that I've got left to do that I think I'll need to make the proof of concept game thing that I'm working on is, and that's actually, you can see why I need it by looking at how thin the frame menu here looks, because right now you can go to different frames of animation and you can just toggle playback on it. And I am going to add menu entries here for things like add a new frame, duplicate this frame, move this frame to a different spot in the frame order and stuff like that. But honestly, that's the kind of thing that in a lot of other programs, whether it's like Adobe Image Ready or Autodesk Animator or whatever, you want kind of like a timeline thing along the bottom. So that's kind of the last bit of UI work that I've got to do, and I'm hoping that I can get it done before the end of the month, but it might take a little longer. There's the thing about working on this stuff here, like the menu bar, is that it opened up. Like I actually had to do several bits of work, like even just getting it so that I could resize images correctly. Like I had never done the code to crop an image. Like now you can select something, and then I'll hit Control K because that's a shortcut, and then that crops the image to the current selection, which is cool, and that's useful, and you weren't able to do that before. Like there wasn't really any way whatsoever to resize artwork, except like you could pull down, you could probably do this, but that's kind of a recipe for trouble, so yeah. Yeah, what else? I've got the beginnings of the About screen, like the little heart up in the top here. That's, now that I realize it's a bit of a Mac OS Classic homage / lift, but yeah, and this is like a multi-screen. This is a multi-screen little dialogue thing that you can use to page between different bits of information, and I'm going to use that for the About screen. That's got like the list of credits and thanks, folks who have helped me, and Patreon patrons who have helped make this possible. But then also the help screen, where I need to add another screen to this. But this will be a screen by screen. Hey, here's how I use it, and etc. So yeah, here's another thing that I did. I made it so that you can click a link and just be taken to the website. I'm guessing that most people using the program right now know about the website. But the other thing that I've got to show is that I set up a creator account on itch.io. And so now you can download Playscii from itch.io. One of the reasons that I did this was actually just kind of a practical one. People were complaining. They were saying like, hey, I tried to download Playscii, but Chrome said that it was malware, and that sucks, and like I'm really sorry about that. It's definitely a false positive. Like I scanned it with every virus protection thing I knew, but then these two random, like this is an online virus scanner thingy that you can just feed any file you want to it, and it will just give it a try. And these two antivirus programs that I had never heard of before, maybe they're big wherever, but yeah, it said like they had two different viruses on it. That's definitely not the, like, again, I'm pretty sure that it's not malware. I'm guessing, actually, that these things are just look at anything, any executable that was created by Py2exe, and maybe like has certain modules enabled or something. I'm guessing that this is an overly generous virus signature. I don't even know how antivirus software works. Anyway, that sucks. People were getting that on the Bitbucket downloads. And so, but people were saying like, oh yeah, like itch.io usually solves that problem for you, and or they're just like a registered, known, good, not malware vector with Google, or, yeah. So yeah, so I set up a little itch.io thing, and now you can download Playscii. It's like a pay what you want thing. I mean, it is obviously free and open source, and you can download the code or the Windows build or whatever as you like, but I figured, eventually I'd like to sell games that I make on itch.io, and I wanted to just kind of get my feet wet and support them, because itch.io is really neat. It's like one person who runs it, and is apparently like a totally sweet guy, and so I'm really grateful for that, and that this kind of thing exists, and that, itch.io, in case you didn't know, is really cool. Just, yeah, itch.io, and there's just a ton of games. People put games on there all the time, and they're free games, like open source games, like games that are like rewards for people's Patreons, and just all that kind of stuff. It's cool. And yeah, I put up some screenshots of some of the latest thing. This is just a shot of my sweet menu bar. It's kind of a different cell than a lot of other things on there, but yeah. So yeah, next, I probably still have a few little tasks here left on the menu bar stuff, just because it is providing a lot of features. That's one of the things the reason that I'm excited about this, and the reason that, like, this is something that I need just as a user of this program, but also I know that it's going to, like, unblock, like, there's a lot of functionality that was hidden on the command line and stuff in here before, but now you can just point and click on it, so I think a much larger range of people could potentially download Playscii and kind of get into it and understand how to use it now, and just, whatever. And that's really awesome. I am making this first and foremost for myself, but I love the idea of people making it. By the way, another thing that I've set up on the web recently is Yeah, is the Tumblr, and it's been posting stuff from. I just queued up a bunch of posts in the backlog. If you have made something with Playscii, then please submit it. It is one of those Tumblrs that takes submissions, and you can submit artwork that you've made, and it'll appear on this Playscii Tumblr, and it's cool. People are liking my stuff on Tumblr and following the Tumblr and all that stuff that you do on Tumblr. So yeah. But yeah, next I'm going to move on to the frame animation thing because I want to make some animations. I want to make like this little weirdo. Probably not this character who really was just something that I made for the game mode test, but I want to make people move around. I want to make stuff do weird stuff in motion and all that. And then I'll really be mostly onto game making. And I hope to be doing that by the beginning of March. We'll see though. The path ahead is kind of unclear as far as just like how once you get into game development, you're in a creative process and things are going to change. You're going to be like, oh, this idea that I thought was going to be really cool isn't, or I had an idea that's really cool that makes everything work. So yeah. And I promise I will speak in fewer generalities once I'm actually going through that creative process, and I will share as much as I can. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and thank you so much, Patreon supporters, for helping make it possible for me to do this. And I will see you next time, hopefully with more cool stuff to show. In the meantime, you can download Playscii 0.4.0 from itch.io or off the Bitbucket thing. And yeah, now I'm going to record a video that just reproduces this bug that's been annoying me so that people can look at it and maybe help me fix it. Anyway, thank you for watching, and good night.